What's up, guys? DJ Hess here, and it's about 5 in the morning my time. I'm a little ticked off, and I'm going to be talking to you guys about a kind of a hot topic around YouTube, which is racism. And it's going to be a little bit more of a serious talk, so if you guys aren't ready for that, you can stop watching the video now because it might be a waste of your time. I'm not even 100% sure I'm going to upload this video, but for me it's actually a wee bit therapeutic to actually compile my thoughts and generate them together like this in a video. And this is about a 17-minute video. So if you guys are going to stick by it, great. I really appreciate it. And I'm curious about any feedback, or any personal relations that anybody else can have to this. But the topic is racism, so I'm gonna jump into it now. So those two incidents that in recent days that occurred, one of them was tonight, and another one was yesterday. And basically, I'll start off with the one tonight. I DJ'd a wedding. It was a very country wedding, and there was one individual there with a cowboy hat on, and he was very, very like hick redneck type, and you could just tell he had a chip on his shoulder. He ended up being like completely disrespectful to me during this wedding. Was like talking shit, and he called me a stupid idiot at one point. And then, I mean, this is a wedding, and I'm a fucking grown man. You don't call a grown man a stupid idiot at a wedding. But regardless of that, he ended up saying some other stupid shit, like asking me. He asked me if I had a business card, and I was like, no, because I wasn't gonna, he was being a jerk, so I wasn't gonna give him my card. And he's like, good, I wouldn't recommend you anybody. He's like, you're the worst DJ ever. And he was pissed off because I didn't have a couple country songs that he wanted, and he wanted me to stay late. And I was like, dude, they have me till a certain time frame, and that time frame is now. Like, I'm going home. Like, I'm tired as shit, and it's been a long day. And there's a noise ordinance in the neighborhood. They needed to cut off the sound anyway. But regardless of all that, the guy was being a jerk, and I can see him huddled in the corner talking shit about me, and him and his friends looking at me the whole time. And I'm like, thinking nothing in my head other than this dude is a racist fucking prick. And there's no way of proving this instance, but that of course he's racist or not. But I get that feeling, and I'll touch base on the reason why in just a second. Actually, fuck it, I'll get into it right now. The reason why is because there's like kind of long-lasting childhood issues from growing up being an Asian American, or in everybody else's eyes an Asian or a chink or a gook or whatever the fuck racist names they want to call me. But my mom's side of the family is all hick. They're all rednecks because I'm adopted, and so growing up was difficult because I never fit in, and I could tell they always had like a chip on their shoulder as well. They didn't accept me for me as James, that's my name. Fucking James is my name, and they didn't accept me for me. They looked at me as a fucking yellow-skinned person that didn't belong. And growing up with that type of atmosphere with rednecks, there's an automatic something that should be going off in my head that says probably don't fucking hang out with rednecks, right? I mean, that would make sense. And same thing with black people and Mexican people and everything else. Like, if people of certain skin color are talking shit and making fun of you, like, it makes you a little bit shy from that race. I mean, in general, which is a fucked up thing. I don't let that control me, and really, I don't. But there's some suppressed memories there that I have that kind of bring it back, and it makes me go, fuck, am I dealing with this shit again? I'm going to give you some examples. There's a lot of incidents for me growing up as an Asian kid that was kind of the minority in my area. It was fucking really difficult. One of them I vaguely remember when I was in about 2nd grade. My neighbor's sister and they're way older, and one of her friends were out in the middle of a field with some of us, I guess, and I remember them whipping the shit out of me. I had welts all over my back with like branches or something like that. Me and my brother both, and they were doing it and calling us chinks. Now, I didn't understand what that was at the time. I didn't understand that. It took me a while to really comprehend why they were doing that, because in 2nd fucking grade, you don't understand hate because of skin color. You don't understand racism, and looking back on that instant, it's like, what the fuck, automatically in my head I'm like, why do these people hate me? It's just because of the color of my skin. It doesn't matter me as an individual, as a person. It's just because they don't like that my skin is yellow, or in their eyes yellow. There was another incident where I was playing basketball and running home, and some dude threw a beer can at me. It was like half full, hit me in the back when I'm walking, because I was walking on the side of the road, and hit me in the back, and they yelled out some racist slurs to me while I was walking along the road while they did that. And that, I'm always going to remember that. Just a senseless hate crime against myself for absolutely no reason other than the color of my skin. It's just something that you take with you because it's so frustrating, so frustrating. And there was another incident where I was at the rodeo with one of my buddies, and yeah, a rodeo, an Asian guy at a rodeo, right? Well, that's exactly what people were thinking, because two girls walked up to us and spit on me and said, "You don't belong here." And then they walked back over to their section where they were with their two hick boyfriends with their cowboy boots and cowboy hats. And I'm like, they're just staring at me the whole time like I didn't belong. And I was like, it's a fucking rodeo. I was just there like enjoying the fair. Like, but another senseless act. And this was more of when I was in middle school, but it's like, I don't know. It was really frustrating. There was one other incident that I remember where I was in grade school and I think it was middle school as well. And I was walking to the bus stop, and some kid took his fingers and put them by his eyes and made a slits, like calling me a chink, basically with his hands. And I remember I pushed him down on the ground and kicked the shit out of him, because at that point in my life I was like, "Now these people are doing it because they hate me. Well, if they hate me because of the way I look, then I'm not going to put up with that shit." And there's amount of respect that I think is needed, that is completely lost because of racism. So rolling it all back into what happened to me, you might think, well, I might be overreacting. The guy might not be racist. He might just be a jerk. Well, part of me thinks that as well, but you got to realize where I'm coming from now. You look at it automatically makes me reflect on my childhood and all the incidents that happened to me, and make me think, well, is this guy doing it out of hate because of my color of my skin? Now look at it. Now what do you think? Do you think I'm unreasonable for assuming that? So you get a little bit of a glimpse into somebody's life that has to deal with that on, or had to deal with it on kind of a regular basis growing up. It's things like that leave lasting impressions on somebody, and it's memories that will never go away because of the hurtful hate towards somebody when it's not needed. In general, that just ends up creating more hate. I should inherently hate rednecks. I DJ country weddings from time to time. I have friends that like country, blah blah blah. But so I don't try to hold that grudge. But there is still that little twitch that makes me question whether or not people are judging me again by the color of my skin. So the other example I wanted to give you guys was basically the day before, somebody left a comment on my page and it said, "You're a gook, you're not great, it's a nuke, big deal, you're like 20, get a life and a job." Well, obviously this guy's a fucking retard because I'm not 20, I'm older than that, and I have a life and I do have a job. But the fact that he said you're a gook, if you don't know what a gook is, it is a racist fucking term for an Asian, and I don't appreciate that. I look at that, I blocked him. Like, and I just, it makes me infuriated, and that's the very first thing that I think of when I see a comment like that. It just straight up anger. Like, shit like that is zero tolerance for me on my channel. I do not accept racist remarks. If you drop an N-bomb, I won't allow that. It's stuff like that you don't think it can have any effect on somebody because it's a word. But I advise you to, if you're one of those people that would be calling names because of the color of somebody's skin, which is, I mean, it's America, right? I mean, the shit like this happens all the time. There's nothing new. The only thing I could recommend for you guys, since there's a lot of younger people out there, is to think about what you're saying before you say it, because you never know. Like the shit that's happened to me in my childhood, you never know what people are going to take with them forever. And it's going to be something that if they're not allowed to play in a baseball game or a basketball game with you because you tell them they're a Mexican, go away, or something like that. I mean, think about shit like that, because that's segregation of people because of their skin tone is not the right thing to do. It's completely messed up. So you got to think basically what effect does it have on the person saying the remarks? Typically, it has no effect on them because they do not understand or care to put a personal perception on who they're talking to, because again, they're talking to a Mexican, or they're talking to a black, or they're talking to an Asian. They're not talking to an individual with a name. And I think that that is one of those things, like, if you're one of those people that have that perception, think about it, because that person does have a name, that person does have a family, most likely, and that is a person. It's not just somebody with a skin tone. Now, um, basically, all I'm saying is these memories stay with you, and they're hurtful and they're hateful towards myself, and it's not needed. It really isn't. And I really, as silly as this sounds, I really wish everybody could just follow something called the golden rule. Which, if you don't know what the golden rule is, it's fucking simple. It's treat others how you want to be treated. Now, if everybody lived by that, we'd be fucking fine. America would be awesome. But YouTube would be awesome, right? Like, it's just people don't treat others how they want to be treated. How they want to be treated. They try to put other people at a disadvantage, and I find that unfortunate. I don't know, but basically, if you guys notice, there's a lot of racism on YouTube. There's a lot of racism on Xbox Live. When I'm on Xbox Live and kids are in that lobby or in lobbies and they're saying N-bomb this and N-bomb that and like fucking stupid N-bombs and like shit like that is not cool. These kids don't know if there's anybody of any race in that in whatever lobby they're in. They can, if they're spouting off the mouth saying they hate black people, blah blah blah. Kids do not care when they're online, and you know, maybe online is a little different. It's a different world, but when you got to keep one thing in mind, when you have kids that have to deal with this shit every day on the way to school, and then they have to hear it on the internet as well, like, it's just another little thing that they get to remember. Why, you know, that they're not going to be liked again because of strictly skin color, and it's hateful, and it is hurtful. And I think the only thing I can give maybe for you guys for some advice is don't do it. Like, it's not hard to not say something racist or something that could be potentially hurtful. Now there's a couple things to keep in mind. Obviously, there's a difference between joking about racism and stuff between friends and making remarks to somebody that have meaning behind them. And by meaning behind them, you can feel when somebody says chink or something like that in a serious manner that they mean it. They mean what they're saying. There's other times where it's joking, and in situations like that, it's not that big of a deal because there's a lot of stereotypes, frankly, for all races. And stereotypes are one of those things that are joked about, which, I mean, you got to consider those things are that they could be offensive to some people, and some people might be oversensitive to things. And you're like, well, what the fuck? Why is that guy so sensitive to things? Just take my example, maybe with you guys next time you think about that. Maybe I might be sensitive to some things strictly because of my past, strictly because of the way I've been treated, strictly because of the way I've been abused by people because of being Asian. Like, so when people ask me if I'm Asian on YouTube, it's one of those things that I didn't necessarily want to get out there right away, and maybe I shouldn't have done that, and maybe I should have. The reason why I didn't really want to is because now I'm not just DJ Hess. Now I'm an Asian. Now I'm an Asian guy. And if there's people out there that don't fucking like Asian guys, they're automatically gonna hate my channel, like because I'm Asian. Which is honestly, that's fine, because I'd rather have them know that than have them sub to me and then find out I'm Asian later and then leave racist shit on my channel, like calling me a fucking gook or something like that. So in closing, I guess I can just ask that maybe if you guys can consider your actions before you guys go and start spouting off in the mouth, saying some things that you might later regret, because again, you never know really the long-term effects on other people, even if it's Xbox Live. And maybe I'm not talking more about Xbox Live or online, because it's a little bit different than face-to-face, but regardless, it still has lasting impressions, and it's enough that there was a real life incident and then there was some shit online that happened one right after another, and it just makes me shake my head again, like, I can't believe I'm having to deal with this shit again. Like, I don't know, it's just, fucked up to me. But I think I'm gonna be done talking about this for now. I just had to get it off my chest. I don't really condone racism. It's absolutely not allowed on my channel, no matter what race. Um, and it's something that's something that I hope that you guys can consider going forward. And if it changes one person from maybe being a little bit more cautious from what they're saying, then I'll know that it was worth me putting this video out. But and of course I don't need you to admit that. But it's part of growing up. I think that as you grow up as an individual and you grow into who you are as a person, do you want to be somebody that has hate for other people? Just flat out fucking hate. Like, do you want to be that person that has that, or do you want to be the person who doesn't judge other people because of stupid shit like the color of their skin? And you'll know inherently that people can be good no matter what color their skin is, and that everybody should actually be maybe equal because I don't know. I think people have a problem with equality sometimes because maybe it's generational. Maybe it's something that they've grown up with on their end. Their grandparents hated Asians because they had somebody die in a war or something like that. So I know there's situations for every side, but I don't go out of my way to talk shit about rednecks. I don't go out of my way to talk shit about Mexicans or blacks. I mean, it's one of those things. Just mutual fucking respect. Golden rule. Who would have thought that the golden rule could be so significant? But treat others how you want to be treated. That's all I can say. And anyway, that's all I have to say about it. If you guys stuck through this whole entire video, I want to thank you. If you found it somewhat helpful, then I think it was worth putting it out there. But I'm kind of leaving myself exposed here, and I'm not like not like that, but you know what I mean. Like I mean, I'm a commentator, but I'm also a human being, and I don't know. I'm kind of frazzled right now, so I'm just gonna go ahead and let it be. It's fucking just about 6 o'clock now, my time. So without something, I guess something about the gameplay. This is one that I had back in the day with Black Ops, and I went like 103 and 20 something. So I like to play Demolition back in the day. I kind of gave it up for a bit, but maybe I'll get back into it one of these days. Hope you guys like the commentary. Leave me a comment if you guys do, and hopefully we can learn something about racism. Maybe it's just not a good thing to be racist to people if you can avoid it. Have a good one, guys.